So I have two topics that I'm going to talk about today. And the first one is that I just went and see the Avengers, and oh my goodness, it was so great. Go see it as soon as possible. Don't leave it till the last minute like I have with watching the first Hunger Games movie, but go see it like straight away because it was so good, and it was like just all the awesome people just mashed in together, and I just love superheroes. I have a bit of a superhero fetish. It was just very funny and witty and lots of killing people and not that many girlfriends, which was good. Just stop kissing people and go and kill people. You do, but I'm gonna have him and I'm gonna, like Spider-Man. Who cares about Spider-Man? There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out, which I'm kind of keen for because the guy who's playing Peter Parker is pretty hot, and also Emma Stone's in it, and she's hot. Anyway, so my second thing is the Hunger Games, which I just finished reading last night. I don't know how to describe it. It was so great and so unforgettable that I don't know how to describe it. I cried throughout the whole ending. My eyes were so raw and like stinging, and I got to the point where like my chest was so constricted that I couldn't breathe properly. It was pretty intense. I just felt as though it had so much more meaning than just the simpleness of this story, this fantasy story that we kind of see that it could actually potentially happen, because, you know, it has references to our world, a bit like Lord of the Rings, except it's way in the past. It kind of, I feel like it relates to our society as well as just this fantasy world, that the capital is like our world, my world, people who can watch these videos' world. The fact that we have the privilege to be able to go out and have the technology that we can use. We have food on the table, we have our clothes on our backs, we have roofs over our heads, and then there's people living out there who don't have any of that and who just can't live like we do. And it's almost, I feel as though we're the capital, we're the people who live in this wonderful land, and there's people who live in places like the Seam who live in hunger for their whole lives, and we play games with them. I feel as though as a society, I do it too. We think, you know, I'm going to donate to charity, I'm going to be nice to these people, I'm going to do all these things. We're just kind of putting a band-aid on these wounds, these moral wounds, and it's not like the people who are like Cinna in the story, who help people and who are kind and go out there and risk their lives for people. I don't know if Suzanne Collins meant to have this impact on people, but for me, I felt as though this book was just basically telling us that our society is just wrong. So there's this book by John Green called The Fault in Our Stars, and the main character Hazel is talking about this book that she loves, and I've got this quote here that I looked up from the internet that I feel as though is somewhat fitting for this. It says, "Sometimes you read a book and it fills you with this weird evangelical zeal, and you become convinced that the shattered world will never be put back together unless and until all living humans read the book. And then there are books which you can't tell people about. Books so special and rare that they're yours, that advertising your affection feels like betrayal." I feel as though everyone should read The Hunger Games. I feel as though everyone should understand the interpretation that I have of this book. I feel as though the world will be changed by this book, by looking at ourselves and understanding the fact that this book is this attack on our society. I feel as though we need to change through reading this book. We need to look at ourselves and need to rethink things that we believe in. On the other hand, I don't want anyone else to read this book, because maybe it's better that we don't try and attack our own society. Maybe it's better to not have to feel what I'm feeling at the moment and be conflicted with everything that I've just understood. I don't want anyone else to have to, you know, feel the pain of reading a book, basically. If you read lots of books, you'll understand what I mean. This book has obviously left me with a lot more understanding than, you know, any other book ever has. We need to look at ourselves and change. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or whether that's a bad thing, or whether maybe we should just forget about this book and just look at it as a, you know, a nice fairy tale. Or maybe we should look at it through interpreting it and realizing that, you know, maybe we should stop playing games with people.